see Dr. Sue tells it like it is. This is going to be so interesting. I'm really excited to introduce to you our speaker, Dr. Sue Kornbluth.
I want you to announce me every time I speak. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here with you today on this very important occasion. But I want to say something first. I'm not from New Jersey or New York, but I married somebody from New York who went to New Jersey and then came to Philadelphia from where I'm from. So how many of you here are from New York or New Jersey? Woo! All right, how about Philadelphia? Yes! What part? Malvern. All right. Who else had their hand up? What part? Wonderful. Okay, so I'm from outside of Philadelphia in a town called Upper Dublin, Ambler, but I know Malvern well. So today I'm here not to talk about myself so much. I'm here to talk about what you can do to turn on the light inside of kids that have been abused or neglected. A lot of people get up and do keynote speeches about all the wonderful contributions that they've made to the world. I don't care so much about that. What I care about is empowering people that work with these amazing children and turning on a light inside of them so they can feel as though they can become successful. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. This is not about me, this is about you. But before we get started, I want to take this opportunity to thank the Children's Healing Institute for having me here today. Thank you to the board, thank you to Susan Santos and Sandra Munez for inviting me to this year to be the keynote speaker. Thank you for the wonderful accommodations. We love those. And the warm weather. And I'm really honored to stand here before you today to be your keynote and empower you to think about how you can be a passionate, dedicated advocate for these children. So at the end of today, I want you to ask questions. Don't ask whatever you want. Also, while you're sitting here today, I want you to think about someone that you helped that was abused or neglected and what that made you feel like inside. So, what I'm going to talk to you about right now is passionate people. Passionate people are dedicated people. When I look around this room today, I see that it is filled with passionate and dedicated people. I see people who truly care about making a difference in abused and neglected children's lives. I am proud to stand not before you today, but with you to advocate for children suffering from abuse and neglect. I want to honor you right now for all the work, the donations, your time, your constant devotion that you have given to neglected children in helping provide the life that they deserve. So I'd like everybody right now to give yourselves a round of applause because you are dedicated to helping children become successful. I have presented here at this convention 2 times before doing workshops. I love coming here because every time I did a workshop, people were invested, tuned in, had great questions, and I knew that they were dedicated to wanting to help these kids become successful. It is clear to me how much all of you care about making a difference in these children's lives. We need more people like yourselves in the world who are open to learning and receiving new information inspirational experience. And that means that you can become the catalyst or the force behind these children believing in themselves. You can help each child overcome their trauma and propel them to a place that they never, ever imagined they could be by investing in who they are and who they will become. How do I know this? Well, because I've done it. And I haven't done it just one time. I've done it over and over and over again. Now, I'm not here to tell you that every single child that you work with is going to make progress. That would be foolish of me, and I would be a miracle worker. I like to think of myself as that sometimes, but not every day. All right, so I know that you want to help every child, and you want to see every child become successful, but that's just not going to happen. But there are kids that have extremely high resiliency. And those are the kids that you need to invest in so much more when you see that. I've let abused and neglected kids know from the beginning that I truly believe in them. That in spite of what they've gone through in their lives, that doesn't define everything that they are. I have a saying, and I say this all the time, and it goes like this. There is not one person in the world that has not experienced something painful in their lives. I am sure there are many of you in this room that have gone through terrible times in your lives. I have, and I'm sure you have too. But we have a choice. And that choice is to either let these experiences consume our lives or let them be what they are, a part of our lives. I want abused and neglected children all over this country to know that the abuse they suffered is one part of their lives and does not have to define their whole existence. People ask me all the time, Dr. Sue, how have you become involved in helping abused children? So I'd like to take a few minutes and share a personal story with you. When I was 8 years old, my parents had a terrible argument in the house. And my mom didn't know what to do, and she ran out of the house. My parents were screaming at each other. And I ran after her as she went out the door. She jumped in her car and drove away. I walked back into the house where my father said, "Don't worry, she'll come back." I sat on the steps, looking at the door in our hallway for an hour and a half, crying, sobbing, yelling at my father, waiting for the door, the key to go in the door, and for it to turn. And finally it did. I was one of the lucky kids. During that time I had sat there, I felt so much panic. I thought I had done something wrong. I was fearful. What if my mom never comes back? What if I never saw her again? What is going to happen to me? But when my mother came back, she did something that I think has changed my life and has empowered me to do this work. She talked to me. She took me upstairs and she said, "What I did was wrong. I should not have ran out. I should not have scared you. I should have stayed here and tried to talk this out and say what I really felt, but I couldn't handle it at the moment. And I didn't know what to say. So I'm sorry that I scared you." And she held me and she never left again. Again, I was a lucky kid. There are hundreds of thousands of kids all over the country, millions throughout this world, where their parents don't come back. for 60 minutes for the rest of their lives. In those moments when I thought my mother would not return, I felt sheer panic and helplessness. I wondered if I did something to make her leave. And when she came back, I felt relief. Most kids don't ever get to feel that relief. I have done this work because I know in some capacity what it feels like to wonder if your parents are ever coming back. I want kids to know that it is not their fault and that sometimes parents do come back. And if they choose not to come back, it has nothing to do with the child, but everything to do with the parents' own shame and possible inability to get their own lives together. When children carry around, as they do, that I did something wrong, that this is my fault, they carry that not only while you're working with them, but throughout their lives in every situation. In 1999, hold on, sorry, wait, technical difficulty. Yeah. Okay, good. Sorry, technical difficulty. In 1999, someone came into my life that helped me understand how important it is to work with abused and neglected children. She was a 16-year-old young lady placed into the foster care system due to her mother's abuse. Her name was Nylene. And there she is sitting with me in these pictures. And that's us in 1999. Oh, God, I'm so glad I got a new hairstylist. What was I thinking? All right. So that was 1999 in my office when I first met her. And this is in 2015 at my book signing because she wrote the foreword of my book. Nylene rolled into my office like a ball of fire. She had been in 7 different foster homes. Her mother told her that she was the worst mistake she ever had. I was scared. I was 25 years old. I'm glad I only look about 35 now. I was scared about what to do or say myself. She was scared by other therapists telling her to get over what happened to her. She was waiting for me to disappoint her too. The last therapist that Nylene saw in Philadelphia told her that I don't care if I get paid, I don't care if you speak to me or not in this session. I'm still going to get my paycheck. That is the message she got from the therapist who was trying to help her before she came into my office. I didn't know what to do after time because she would come into the office, sit down on the couch, put a jacket over her head, and not speak to me. But I knew one thing, and that was that she needed to feel safe and that someone trusted her and that she could trust someone. So all I said to her was, I'll sit here with you. I don't care if you talk to me, but I'm going to be here with you. And when you want to talk to me, let me know, because I'm still going to be here. So one day, about 4 weeks in, she takes the jacket off of her head and she says, you want to play cards? And that was the beginning of a journey that has led me to where I am today. 16 years this young lady has been in my life. And in the time I worked with Nylene, healed because of the experience that we built between each other. When I was in my training years ago, getting all my degrees, the one thing that I took from that is the one thing they taught us. How do people heal? Not through all the techniques I can teach you. They heal through a relationship where you're getting validated, acknowledged, and you feel that someone cares about her. I told her from day one, I believe in her, and that for the time that I'm present in her life, I will fully be present with her to reach her goals. I made a promise to myself to invest in her dreams, desires, and her life. The investment carried her to be the first person in her family to graduate college and get a degree in criminal justice and psychology. This young lady, who I love, came from a family where her mother was addicted to crack, having prostitutes in and out of the house. One day I said to her, why do you want to go to college? I asked all the kids that anyway, I want to know. And she said, because I want to prove, not to my family, but to myself, that I can become more than what they expect of me. And she did it. And I invested in her. I said, what kind of help do you need? I'm here. I need help writing my essays. I said, fine, bring it in. During the sessions, we wrote essays. What should I write about? I said, write about you. Write about your experiences. Write about how you overcame from being a victim to becoming a survivor. And she did. And she just didn't get into one university. She got into 5. In 2013, I was lucky to be approached by a publisher. They knew my work and they said, we would really like you to write a book. And I wanted to write a book about everything that I have done in terms of helping therapists and counselors counsel these children. And I wanted to call the book Building Self-Esteem in Children and Teens Who Have Gone Through Traumatic Experiences. However, when you're lucky enough to get a publisher, you do what they say. So, they said, please write us a book about helping foster and adopted children. And I said, okay, I'll do it because that's what I did for all those years. But I said to them, the only way I'm writing this book is if I can have Nylene write the foreword to the book. Because one thing that she always wanted to do was tell her story to the world. Why? Because as you probably know, there is nothing more important than having a child voice recognized. When they are being abused, they are told oftentimes to keep it secret, not tell. I want to give abused and neglected victims who become survivors a voice. Because their voice is stronger than my voice. They are the ones that have gone through this, and they are the people that can tell you what it is truly like. So in 2013, I reached out to Nylene, and I said, I really would like you to write the foreword, and she was so honored to do so. And she spoke at my book signing last year, there she is, where I was no longer the hit, she was the hit that night. And I can't tell you how many emails and just I got from so many people saying, this young lady is magnificent. I want to read a passage from the book that she wrote to you. And as I'm reading it, I want you to look at this young lady and picture her back there in 1999 and what her journey was like. This is Nylene talking now. I want people to know that it is never too late to heal from being abused. I was a child put into the system because of what my mom did, and it is always going to affect my life. Being separated from your parents stays with you forever. You don't forget your mother telling you that you were her biggest mistake. Now, I can